Welcome to Just CHOPSING podcast. And today we've got Luke Short from RavenBreed. And obviously my cousin and co-host David. He's always here to join us. How's it going, Luke?
Good, very good. Thank you. You?
Yeah, we're not too bad, man. We've survived the football. We haven't been called any nasty names like some of the players. Well, we weren't playing, but only with ourselves probably. But there you go. That's another story for another show.
Right. Certainly is. I'm a Welshman in England at the moment. But, I'm a Welshman in England, being surrounded by it all. So yes, it's been a bit crazy, and but you know, it is what it is. At the end of the day, it's one of those things. You win or you lose.
Yeah, somebody has to lose. Well, as they say, come second now. They don't like to say lose anymore, do they?
Right.
So. It's not very politically correct to call somebody a loser anymore.
No, non-competitive.
But yeah, I digress.
So lead singer of RavenBreed then. So band formed in 2018, but I believe you joined them in 2020.
Yeah, well, I joined late 2019, but it wasn't announced till the January of 2020. So yeah, you're right.
Okay. So what were you doing before that then, Luke? Before you joined the band?
Well, I took a break from music for about 5-6 years. Not through anything bad. I played in cover bands and I'd always written songs. I've always been a very prolific writer, whether that's like poems or lyrics or songs, but never did anything with them. And I was in a cover band where you actually earn money, you know, and my daughter was born. A long story short, I kind of said, you know, priorities. We were a very busy band, and with priorities, and I just kind of said, you know, I'm going to give it a whiff for a little bit, and that's what I did until I went to a show. I think I went to an Alter Bridge show, I think it was Alter Bridge, and I just got the bug. I missed being on stage, and I thought I don't want to do covers again. You know, if I got to play Dakota again or something like that, I'll shoot myself. So I said, well, let's see if there's a band out there, and I found RavenBreed. So yeah.
All right. So what happened to their old singer then?
The old singer, well, all I can really say on that is that it was, I don't know the old singer, never met Zoe, no idea. But it was, from what I've been told, it was just a breakdown in, I guess you can call it artistic differences is the cliche word. But inevitably it just broke down, you know, bands, people, you know, it's not a life sentence, I guess. So Zoe thought she had to move on, and whatever happened, I don't really know. And honest to God, I never really asked. It's not it was just me coming in and, okay, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And the guys liked it, thankfully. And the past is the past. So I never really dwelled on it. I didn't know the person, so I just cracked on.
Who the fuck's Zoe?
Zoe. So Zoe was the old singer.
Is that a woman or a man?
Warren was a transgender. And
right, okay. Fucking hell, he was a big lad then. Because I just watched a video of him. What was that song called, Dave?
Falling Away.
Yeah, because we tried to see if we could recognize some of the streets.
Yeah.
So now he's called Zoe, is he?
That's correct, yes.
Right, okay.
Oh, it makes a bit
I was like, who the fuck is Zoe?
Yeah.
I was watching a guy singing.
Yeah. So that was filmed in Newbridge, was it?
I believe so. Yeah, it was filmed in the Memo. Well, I'm actually from. I was born in Pontypool, and then my sort of early years were in Cwmbran, and then I moved over to Pentramaw, which is just up the road from Newbridge. So yeah, it was all those little street scenes that you see just around the Memo.
Okay. Yeah, because I said to Terry earlier on, I was watching the music video, and I was thinking I recognise those streets somewhere, but I've been to Newbridge a few times, but I've not really hung around there a lot. So Terry said, you know, every street looks the same in Wales anyway, so it could have been filmed anywhere pretty much.
Go anywhere in fucking Pontypool or
That's it, isn't it? Because I said, oh, it looks a little bit like the village in Pontywood Village in Cwmbran. And then Terry said, oh, it looks like old Cwmbran. So we're like, oh, I don't know. We'll have to ask him when he comes on.
As you said, though, it's the same everywhere. There is Newbridge, Pontypool, Cwmbran, or the Rhondda, Merthyr. It's just long and straight and joined.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
So, yeah,
that's right. Okay, so so the second EP came out in this year, February, I believe. And obviously you were singing on that one and part of that one. So were you part of the songwriting on it as well, Luke?
Yeah. So, kind of long story short, when I auditioned for the band, I went down and I sang the old EP song because that's obviously all they had at the time, and got the call the next day from the guys, and they said, "Look, we like your voice. We'd like to give it a go. However, you need to be able to write." So I said, "Well, I write all the time. I've always been very interested in literature, very interested in words, essentially. You know, I like writing, and I'm very eclectic in my music taste and knowledge." So they sent me over what was the verse of "Wasted Over You," which was the first single. And I remember Ross sent me a WhatsApp of the audio. And I think, no word of a lie, within about 20 minutes, I had those first few lines and melody. And they said, "Oh, that sounds cool." And then we met up, the chorus came. But yes, I mean, to answer your question in a broad spectrum, I write all the lyrics. I love writing lyrics. And I kind of, not so much with the Echoes EP, because I wrote Fires. So Fires is a song that I wrote, and then obviously gave it to Mikey because it's only guitar and vocal. But I wrote Fires by myself. It was, added to and evolved a little bit. Echoes was a song where I was sat in the car and I came up with this melody on my way to Mikey's for a songwriting session, and I just kept singing that verse line. And it was all kind of in my head, and he just started kind of playing the chords, and again, it evolved. But yeah, normally there's two ways we write songs. Either I'll sit down on an acoustic, come up with a basic structure, chord progression, and melody as a genesis of an idea, or Mikey will come up with something that it's quite funny actually, because from the start of joining the band, I mean, Ross is a riff master. Ross will put him in a practice room. Ross will come up with a riff, and he comes up with great bass riffs. And the "Wasted Over You" riff, the "Pulling My Chain Down," that was all Ross. And then again, Mikey grabs hold of it, adds the other parts to it. But I've always found that whatever Mikey sends me from a guitar part, we've instantly had chemistry. Like, he knew sometimes, when you're not a technically proficient musician like myself, I can play guitar, but I'm terrible at it. You need to get what you've got, and Mike gets it.
Yeah, get your point across.
Yeah, so I'll say to him, no, play it this way, and he gets it, or he knows what I'm thinking, and vice versa. So that's how the Echoes EP came. And to be quite honest with you, the songs were all written and demoed. I joined in the December. It was announced in the January. They were written and demoed by the April, and it just took so long because of COVID and everything to get into the studio and get it mastered and mixed and all that sort of stuff, which is why it was released only this February. But yes, I write the lyrics. The guys normally just kind of say, I'm very, how can I put it? I'll write something and then I'll put it away, and then I'll read it, and then I'll pick out the crap from the good and edit it a little. And I normally send it to the guys and say, what do you think? And they'll normally just go, yeah, great. They don't really ask what the song's about unless I tell them. They're just like, yeah, we trust you and we like your lyrics, and crack on, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool.
So I thought you were going to say, you can join the band. I thought you were going to say they said you can join the band on one condition, and that's if you change your name to Linda.
No comment on that one. No comment.
So what's the EP about then? Has every song got its own story? Are they all interrelated?
Not really. For me, it was I mean, I'm proud of the Echoes EP. Don't get me wrong, we all are, of course. You know, I've got to give credit to the guys going. You know, they as you said, they launched, and the EP, the Hollowed EP, went really, really well. And as a new band that self-launched, they were doing very well. And as they were kind of gaining traction, as I said, Zoe left, and the guys were in a bit of a bad place. So I've got to give them credit for heads down, arse up, carry on. And it was quite a rushed EP because I wanted to get something out with my name on it, you know, and to say this is now RavenBreed. And so it was good. But from what the songs are about, when I write, so I could do it right now, and I probably will. We're having a conversation, or I'll be stood in the supermarket, or I'll read a sign, and subconsciously something will go in, whether it's a saying or a picture or an idea, and then I get a mental image, like a film in my head. It's not moving, it's just a picture, and then from that is where I draw ideas. So, and not to bore you with Echoes, for instance, Echoes was, I watched this program and it was absolute dog shit. But this little boy went into a well house and he called down this old well, and there was a mythical woman down there, whatever. She said, "My name's Echo," and I just couldn't get it. I can't remember. Was it Keys or Locks and Keys or something like that?
Yeah, Lock and
I
Key.
watched about 3 episodes. Yeah,
it was really good.
So there's this woman. Oh, was it? Well, I might have to give it another go. But that program gave me that image of this well, and after a few days, this idea came of these lyrics of, like I've only just told the guys this over the last couple of weeks. The first line is "Memories of You," which immediately makes the listener think, oh, you're speaking to somebody, or the character in the song is speaking to somebody, but they're actually speaking to their former self, you know, whether that's 10 minutes ago. And I kind of thought, well, as you grow older, you know, as sad as it may seem, and especially in the world we live in, you lose things, you know, you lose faith, you lose love, you lose innocence, you lose whatever it may be. But where do these things go? And automatically the wishing well became the metaphor for where these things go, and to never be returned again. And you kind of have to face what's down there to be able to move on in a deeper meaning. Whether I knew that when I started or not, writing the song, I probably didn't. It just comes. But that's where that idea came from, just watching that TV program. So I normally compile a list of titles, and when the guys send music, or whether I come up with a chord progression, maybe a title, I've got the title on my in front of my desk pinned up, and I'll just scan it. And if something jumps out at me, I'll think, okay, let's see where that goes, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
And the other things, you know, the other songs, Wasted Over You, in a nutshell, is an exaggeration, a conversation between artist and inspiration, or the muse. So, you know, take everything, and I'm going to get this piece of art out of me, but I'll end up wasted over you, you know, essentially. And Pulling My Chain's just a power play. And Pulling My Chain were lyrics that weren't changed, and I wrote them in about 10 minutes because we had practice the next day. So what you actually hear on EP is literally me led on my grandmother's floor in Newbridge with a pad, and the lyrics just came. Are they perfect? Probably not, but that's what came out, and I just stuck with it, which is rare because I normally change things. But yeah, so yeah.
What about Fires?
Fires is probably the most personal song I've ever written, because I don't write from, okay, without sounding cliche, there's always, as a lyricist or a songwriter or painter or whatever, there's always a part of you or your experiences or memories that go into that song. But I tend to, as I said, make up a character, or, you know, a lot of my songs are conversations between personal entities or whatever it may be. But Fires was, it was essentially, and you know, you can read between the lines on this, it's two people going through a difficult period within their relationship. It's probably the most obvious song lyrically. It's not very poetic, but it gets the message across. And just kind of hoping they'll make it out the other side. So yeah, it's a song that I kind of thought the guys will never like this. It's not a heavy rock song, but weirdly, the fans have gone to the rocky stuff. But it seems to be the people that are in our industry, so the radio people, the photographers or whatever, they were the ones that were messaging me kind of saying, that's a really good song. You know, Pete K. Malley, who I guess we all know, he messaged me when we sent him the EP for review, and he said, dude, they're all great songs, but Fires, he said, I'm besotted with the song. I love it. So that was a surprise because it's 3 chords. It's extremely simple. As I said, my shit guitar playing. And yeah, it's let's say it's probably the most personal one.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say it's my favorite off the EP. I got to be honest. So yeah, definitely. I don't get me wrong. I mean, I love the heavy rock stuff as well. And you know, like the bass line and everything and Wasted is really cool as well, you know, right at the beginning, and then the drums thumping and everything. But yeah, I think Fire's got a lot going for it. I like that song. That's my favorite off the EP.
There's a simplicity to it, and funnily enough, it was probably the one that took the longest to demo, even though it's the simplest song. Trying to get it structurally, there's so many times when it's done, and then we listen to it and oh fuck no, it's not done. You know, and just kind of play with it that little bit more. And yeah, so it's a strange one. It's got a simplicity to it that I think some people have kind of really liked.
But like you said, if it's personal to you, you probably wanted to get it right in your head as well. So obviously put it down on paper and stuff. So you probably would end up messing around with it a little bit more, I guess, because it is more personal.
Yeah, I think you subconsciously do that. There are some songs that you just kind of go, done. It's done, and that's what it's going to be, and that's as far as it's going to go. I mean, the only kind of regret that I have with the whole Echoes EP, well, one of them is a regret, and the other one is more of a, oh, should we have done it? The regret is I'm still not quite happy with my vocals on Echoes, because what was in my head didn't come out not 100% how I wanted it to, but that's just me. That's just me as the singer. And the other coulda, woulda, shoulda, I guess, is when we recorded Fires, we sat down in a studio for Mikey to do the guitar track, and I sat next to him and sang along as a guide track. And Tim, the producer, Tim Vincent, came in and said, fuck it, you're done. I went, what do you mean? He said, you're done. He said, I'll use that. He said, that was amazing. He said, that was just, it captured the moment. But we all went home that night and kind of went, nah, let's just track it properly, get in the booth, do it, you know, phrase by phrase, line by line, get it right. And as happy as I am with the song, listening to the live or the guide version, I don't know. There was just something about it that we all kind of go, should we have just used that? Do you know what I mean? It was one of those, but I'm sure you'll hear that version at some point.
Yeah, I think what's cool though is, like, you know, when you come to release the album, I don't know whether, you know, the intention will be that these songs from the EP will go on the album, but you can always release a couple of like extra songs on there at the bottom, which are like a few live versions, which I think, you know, that goes down really well with the fans, right? I mean, because obviously they're getting a bit of something extra for their money, but it gives you the opportunity then to maybe structure it in the way that you wanted to, as opposed to how you did it in the studio.
100%. I think the difficulty with we've played Fires once, because as much as the guys like the song and I like the song, it's because it's acoustic. When you're doing a half-hour set, or, you know, when we played KK Steel Mill a couple of weeks ago with the live show thing, you know, your 3 songs, so you kind of you want to keep it up. So when we played Fires for the Wildfire, was it the Wildfire Festival? Oh no, so it was the New Wave Classic Rock Fest. Sorry, we played it full band. So we've been in discussions of when we play that song, so that it doesn't drop the set too much with just becoming guitar and vocal, to play it full band. Maybe give it a bit more of a, I guess, power ballad edge, rather than just an acoustic and a vocal. So that's not really been rehearsed yet, but will be. And yeah, there's lots of things that we do. But to answer your question of will these songs be on an album? No, they won't. I mean, when COVID hit and we were going to get in the studio to do it, we kind of went, well, the only thing we can do is write songs. And I just went on a rampage. Last summer, there was like every other day I was saying, guys, song. It was just coming out of my bones. And we have recorded a single. I guess I can tell you, we've got a song called Among Ghosts that was written last summer. It's done, it's mastered, and it's ready to go. And I'm sure when you guys hear it, you'll agree, as we do, that it's a step up in production, in sound, and we're really proud of that song. But we've written loads of songs that, again, we feel are more intelligent musically, lyrically, and a step in the right direction for the band's sound. Because don't forget, we're still a young, we're not an old band, you know, we're not been around a long time, so we're still finding that. And I think we're getting very, very close to that now. And so, yeah, when we do an album, hopefully within the next year or two, there will be all new stuff.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. So when you start, because obviously you've got some live gigs coming up now, those live gigs are going to include the 2 EPs that you've got. Well, is that the case, or will it just be this 1 EP and then maybe some tracks from that you've been writing over the summer?
Yes, the latter. Yeah. So everything that is, and it wasn't a decision that was kind of really thought about. It was just something that like organically happened. When I joined, after those first 2 shows I did with the band and then COVID, we kind of just never played them again. We were just like, what's the point in rehearsing old songs? And don't get me wrong, for me, you know, there's no disrespect towards those songs. They're good songs. They've done well and they've served their purpose. But we've written more songs with me in the band and actually recorded more songs, even with the 4 and the EP, than the old version of the band did, I guess. So we just kind of made, it wasn't discussed. It was kind of like, do you want to play them? No. So our sets for the shows that are coming up will be the EP, probably minus Fires, so Echoes, Wasted, and Chains. And we have Among Ghosts, which is a new one, which we did play on the new wave of classic rock, even though there were lyric changes. And we're also playing 2 other songs, one which is called Too Close to the Sun, and one which is called These Ashes, which we've, you know, by the time they get recorded, we think will be pretty cool tunes. So hopefully they'll go down well.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Okay. That's good. Yeah. So you've got a few gigs coming up. So I think the first one is Wildfire Festival on the 30th of July up in Scotland. So hopefully that'll still go ahead then. So that'll be good if that happens.
Yeah, well, we've not heard anything contrary. So I'm, you know, I think that with something of that, you know, size and the amount of bands and the logistics and organizational skills that need to go into that, I think if it was going to pop, it would have by now. We were due to be in Cardiff the next day for the Stormbreakers Heat to go on to Winterfest, but that has now had to go virtual.
Yeah, I saw that the other day.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think.
How's that going to work?
Well, from what I'm a complete technophobe. Give me a pen and paper, I'm great. But then Ross is our virtuoso on it with IT. We've sent them a live video of Echoes from KK Steel Mill, and we've sent them the Wasted Over You video. So I think what they asked for was a live performance of a song and a video of a song.
Okay.
I didn't really get too involved with it. There were a few bands that were on the in that heat that were kind of I mean, I don't blame them. I guess we would have done the same, but they were kind of saying, you know, well, other bands might have more of a budget, have more this, have better quality X, Y, and Z. But I don't think anything was really said about that, and we've sent them what we've sent them, and we just hope that you know, our fans will get behind us on the, you know, the live feed, and we'll get to go through to to the finals or whatever the next stage is of getting on to Winterfest. So yeah, but I think Wildfire will go ahead.
Sorry, what's the one Perla just got on? Was that Winterfest?
I think, yeah, I think it might be actually. I congratulated him, but I can't remember now.
I was just thinking about it then, and I just thought, well, I know Perla have just got onto something, so
yeah, they did a similar thing. So they've sort of done a live show from, I think it's Hangar 18 in Swansea. So and quite a few people have been doing things like that, haven't they? So obviously they got no audience there, unfortunately, but at least they're giving the guys something to have a listen to and watch whilst we're all still waiting to go to shows, I guess. But it might be that Winterfest. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, some of the heats are going ahead, and this is what was a bit, obviously for us frustrating is some of the heats. I think I'm probably wrong in the place I'm saying, but like Newcastle, the further up north, they seem to be the one in Scotland's going ahead, I think, and the one another one a bit, North England, that's going ahead, but Cardiff for whatever reason didn't. So that's now the way it's got to be done, and we're quite lucky in the fact that we've all got pretty good jobs, and so we have that bit of income that we can, as well as our families, to support our families, we can put that bit of money into the band. And although I'm extremely impatient when it comes to, you write a good song, you're just like, I want to get it out. The other guys kind of pull me back and say, no, the video needs to be done properly. This needs, we try not to half-ass anything if we can help it, and it costs money. And from a perspective of a team, as in the scene that we're in, you want, I certainly do want every band to do good. I love a lot of the bands that are in the scene, and bands like Revival Black, Scarlet Rebels, Crows, Wagons, obviously all the ones that are obviously have been signed with Earache and all that kind of stuff. Scarlet Rebels recently, we love all those guys, but there are guys that are kind of don't have that, and they can't produce the quality that maybe we can, but then there are bands above us that produce better quality than we do with certain things, whether it's production or videos. But that's the game you play. Do you know what I mean? If you can't invest as much money or time and effort into doing your stuff, then why should the other bands suffer for that? And you kind of have to look at it in that way, in a selfish way, because as much as you love all these other bands and want them to do well, you want your band to be the best. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So.
Yeah, I agree.
I was going to make a football reference then, but I'm not going to bother. Seems Luke is in England at the moment. Somebody might throw a fucking brick through his window.
Yeah, keep it happy and harmonious. And then some of the other gigs then, so you're gigging, because obviously I'm in Cwmbran, so you've got one in the Patriot, and then one in Fuel as well, so they're just down the road. And then the one that you've got on October the 1st in Hangar 18 is actually got one of my buddies on the bill with you, out of Who Knows Diddley. So I'm hoping to go to that one anyway. So hopefully I'll see you down on October the 1st if everything's all good and everything's hunky-dory. We'll be down there. So
that'd be really cool. Well, feel free to come to the Patriot as well. That's even closer.
I know it is. Yeah, I know. I just got to. I got to check my wife, because she's got my diary, and she just tells me where we're going on certain times.
Fine, I won't argue with that. And
that's right.
And I've got his other diary, so
of what I do in the evenings. I'm just told to turn up. I am. So I was just thinking with the Fires. Obviously, you've mentioned those damn Crows, and like one of their kind of like ballady songs is like "Blink of an Eye," and they play that. So Shane comes out on stage, plays a bit on the piano, does a bit of singing, and then the band come in and join him at a later date. And I've seen quite a few other bands do that. So you still get your kind of like, it ends on a high and like a really, really rock song, but you still get the melody at the beginning of the song. So that might be worth a thought, because I think Fires would go down really, really well. I gotta be honest.
Watch this space. You've hit the nail on the head.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a few different ways we can play that, and we've always said playing it with vocal by myself, Mikey playing it when me singing, or a full band. So kind of said, well, let's do a bit of both. So yeah, that's probably how it will end up, with me starting until kind of the end of the first chorus, and then it just builds and builds, and hopefully it'll have that nice payoff at the end with some woes and getting people singing along. And you're always after the hook. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're always after the hook. And going to the Crows, I mean, they're not, obviously they're Bridgend, and I don't know them that well, but they're a great band. And one thing Shane knows how to do is write a hook. He certainly does, and he's got a good voice, and yeah, they're a good band. And I mean, for me, my favorite Crows song, as we're on the subject, is I think the chorus in Kingdom of Dust is that fucking killer. When that first song came on, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a strong album, start to finish. They've obviously, spent the time and the effort, and the songs are really good. And but I listened to it and I was like, yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. And then Kingdom of Dust came on, and I just went, fuck me, that chorus is incredible. Just a great melody. And that's what it's all about. You can be the greatest musicians on earth, but if you haven't got the song, and you haven't got the just that something that draws people in, and that's a fine balance in itself. You can either be too simple, or you can be like Mikey sometimes wants to make things very intricate when he plays, and I'm just like, no, a verse is a verse, a chorus is a chorus. We add the bridge, do what you like in the solo, and then we'll go from there. So that's sometimes, not that we butt heads, we kind of laugh about it, because I'm very much a linear thinker, and he's the windy kind of thinker. And then Ross is somewhere in the middle and kind of goes, yeah, I agree with him, or whichever it may be. But it comes down to the song. So it's that balance of wanting to show off, but also wanting to serve the song, and to find that bit of the song, even if it is just a bit of the song that grabs you and makes you go, I like it.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Yeah.
It also depends on which producer you work with as well, I think. I mean, some of the better producers are actually good musicians and good songwriters,
100%. Oh, no. I completely agree with you. I mean, we use Tim Vincent at Woodcraft Audio in Cardiff, and Tim works very closely with Ramesh Dodangoda. So Ramesh is actually mastered. Ramesh is actually mastered Among Ghosts.
Okay.
Single, hence the step up. I think he came in when we were recording for a cuppa and kind of listened to where we were, and he said, this is cool. But Tim, so the way I look at it, like say a song going through the process is an idea, the genesis, and then the point where we can get through the song in a practice and it's kind of there melodically and structurally, then a demo, and then you take it into the studio. And I called him Batthink, because his ear is absolutely incredible. When Mikey was recording Fires, it's actually, I think, we did a 5-minute behind the scenes clip, and Mikey sat there on the stool playing, and he says, over the thing, he says, "Oh, love," he said, "I think your G string's out of tune." And he's got, because Mikey's got a pretty good ear as well, and he's like, how can you hear that when I'm playing, So I think that you have to be open for it, and I guess that the producer has to be vocal as well, and that's what we love about Tim. And by God, did he push me with vocals? It was, do it again, do it. Not that there was anything wrong with it. It was just like, look, if you can do it again with a chorus of echoes. I sang it about 10 times, doubling it and bits and bobs. And I went out. I don't smoke anymore, but I went out for a cigarette and a coffee or whatever. And I came in and he said, "All right, let's do it a couple more times." Did it? He said, "Fuck it, I'm doing it all again, because your voice has got a bit more of a tone to it now. You've broken it in, and you need to trust them. You need to trust them." And the from demo to recording, with every single song on EP, with Among Ghosts, which is, I said, the new one, Tim has taken it and put that cherry on top. That extra bit of lead over a chorus that's down in the mix, that extra harmony, that extra this or that. He'll just go, do this. And yeah, so couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah, you don't have to trust them all the time. But I mean, I've had my fair share of experience of working with a producer, but yeah, sometimes they go a bit too safe, you know. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's your song, and
yeah, and that's the respect, isn't it? It's
yeah,
and again, there've been things that Tim has said that we've kind of tried, but like he said the most powerful button I have is the mute button.
yeah,
I would rather have more, try it, and if it works, great. For instance, with pulling my chain, I wanted to do, which ended up on there, so the lead vocal is is at that level, but I underneath I put a megaphone, so I sang through a megaphone. I said, I love the STP and Scott Whalen and all that stuff. Let's use a fucking megaphone. Where can we use it? And he was like, I don't know if it'll work. I said, let's just try it. And we tried it, and it did work. But there was a couple more things that, for instance, on echoes, over the line where I sing echoes down the wishing well, so the call and response, I wanted a harmony. So I wanted to go echoes down the wishing well over the top. And it sounded shit. But as long as you do it, try it, then it's better than not trying it and going shit. I wish I did that.
Yeah.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. But it's a lot easier now in the digital age, you know. It's not like the old days with the old tapes and you know,
No,
now
of
it's
course.
just like record it, fucking scrub it, record it, scrub it. Like in the old days, you had to rewind the tape, or you know, on the old multi tracks, and
yeah, and you had to play good. You had to play really good. Now, you know, it's when I do vocals and when I first went in, I think the first song that I did was Wasted. And he said, sing the song through, sing it all the way through, and then we'll see where you are, how your tone is, how you're feeling. And then he said, right, okay, let's do the first line. But it was evident very quickly that I give a better performance when I can get into it.
mm-hmm.
So sing the first verse, sing it again, and then get the good take, and then move on, do a chorus and all that kind of stuff. So we tried it, doing it in the line by line kind of thing, but I need to get into it. I need to close my eyes, and I give a better performance in singing the whole phrase or section of a song. So, and Sinus Tim again, he said, that's how you sound better. And I'm there going, okay, no problem. I'll just sing, you know? So it's a back and forth, and it's trust, and Tim's great, love him to bits. He's a great human being as well. He's a really, really cool guy. And he's a good musician. He's a good drummer. He plays in a black metal band. So, you know, but he's very open, and he knows what you're going for. You can sense a hook.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, good. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was just wondering, I mean, because we had a band on recently, and they were saying they were going to stick with the same producer for the rest of their fucking lives. And basically, and I was just wondering if you were going to use the same producer, you know, over and over and over again. But to be honest,
not something was really thought about, to be honest. So I couldn't really give a definitive answer, but I mean, we've written an acoustic EP, and it's 4 tracks. There were songs that I wrote last year, and again with no gig, we kind of like, no, let's just play with them, and they've evolved. It's 4 songs. We're going to do that ourselves. We're going to record it and mix it ourselves. So it's got that live kind of Alice in Chainsy, Jar of Flies kind of vibe to it, and not much drums, just shakers and percussion. So we're going to do that ourselves. We'll get it mastered, but with somebody. But we're going to do that. But I would say for the short term, or for the foreseeable, then yeah, because I think Tim gets us. He gets us, and it's nice to see a producer grow, because he's younger than all of us. A producer grow with a band. You know, there are lots of people out there, you know, that Def Leppard always using Mutt Lang, and you know, there's lots of different, obviously, things. That's just the one that came to mind. But I think the more you use somebody, the more that they become a member of the band, and they know exactly what you're going for, and they can read your mind.
yeah.
But again, with Among Ghosts, we used Ramesh to master. So there's nothing to say that in the future we might say, listen, can we have you both? you know, to mix it, because Ramesh is great, and he works very closely with Tim. So it remains to be seen, but I don't see it changing at the moment.
All right, okay. Yeah, I mean, I've worked with a guy before, and I mentioned him also on the last podcast that we did, called Justin Paul Hill. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
I'm good with faces, not names, but go on.
Yeah, well, that's like most Welsh people, I think. No, but he used to be the singer in a band called Sixth.
Ah, that does jog my memory. Yeah,
and he's now a producer, and he's really good. And yeah, you should check him out sometime. You know, at the moment, I just don't know why, I've just got his name stuck in my mind. I mean, he did a song for me, and a few years ago, and it came out fucking better than I could have ever imagined. Really, it actually got the band I was working with signed to V2, so it was it was unbelievable. But yeah, it's just, I don't know why he's at the moment, he's just in my mind all the time. I just can't get him out of there. So every time the band's coming on now, I'm just thinking of Justin, and it's a bit weird.
Oh, remind me after this, ping me a message, and I'll room and board. So yeah,
I'll send it over to you. I mean, I'm friends with him and that, but yeah, I don't know why. Something's sticking somewhere, and there's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. You listen to things, and I mean, like I said, I'm very reflective, and sometimes something's just in your mind, and it almost becomes a bit of a like obsession that is constantly there. And this is all I want to listen to. This is all I want to talk about. And go from there.
Yeah, it's weird. But yeah, it's a strange.
You know what really blew my mind? You know what really blew my mind over the weekend? Not to digress, but you said you go off topic. So, Dare, remember Dare?
Yeah.
AOR band Dare, still going. I was at my mate's on the weekend in Oxford, and he said, Dream came on. Remember those in the 90s?
Yeah.
Dream came on. He went, you know, Brian Cox was the keyboard player in Dream.
Yeah, he was.
What scientist?
Yeah.
I went, all right. So I Googled him, because I went, fuck off. And I Googled him, and it said, from Oldham, Manchester, played in Dream and Dare. I was like, Dare? What? And then I looked at is it Out of Silence or Out of Silence with that, you know, Abandon, or, you know, the big album. And I was like, fucking hell, that's him on the cover. And that just blew my mind. So for the last 3 days, all I've been listening to is Dare. Fucking mental.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. He wanted to be a pop star, didn't he?
Crazy. Great band. I like Dare. I love all that AOR. Again, it's melody. So I love all that stuff.
D-Ream. Things can only get better, wasn't
it? Yeah, it was, yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the best thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're a few old songs, aren't they?
Mm.
So since we're going to go off topic then, I was just looking for a story, and I found something about this guy in England, and he was walking through the woods. I don't know why he was walking through the woods. It didn't say. It just said he was walking through the woods, having a nice stroll one afternoon, and he found a bottle, and it had what looked like inside it, and it was a really old bottle, by the way, not like a fucking Corona pop bottle. It was one of these little old bottles with a stopper in it and stuff, and it had a tooth in it, some hair in it, and what looked like urine in it. So he picked it up, and apparently it's an old witch's spell bottle. Yeah. So he took it away, but now he's taking it back to where he found it, because he doesn't want to be struck with a curse for fucking taking this bottle away, you know.
Yeah.
No.
So if you ever see a bottle of piss with a tooth in it, it's not your granddad's.
Yeah. I'll tell you a story as well. This is something that I always tell people, because it's such a strange story. When I was, let's say this happened about 8 years ago, maybe something like that. So I used to go for runs in the morning, right? And every morning I used to see this guy, early 50s, walking a golden lab. And I'd have my music on, I'd see him, and I'd go, how's it going? And this comes back to the whole witch, weird shit happening kind of thing. And I pass him, normal guy, etc. Well, one day I stopped. I had a stitch or something, I can't remember. But I was walking past him. And I said, morning, you right? And he said, yeah, good. He was on the football field with the dog. And he says to me, and this is honest to God, no word of a lie, right? He says, you know, you got something following you, don't you? Or no, somebody following you. That was his word. And I turned around, you know, like literally, and was like, what the fuck are you on about? Normal guy, no weirdness about him, you know, as in, you know, he didn't seem strange. He was just a regular turn-and-mill guy. He said, "Oh, don't worry, she'll protect you." And I went, "Come again?" And he kind of went, "Yeah, you've got a demon following you called Amy. Swear to God, Amy."
Okay.
So I go home and I fucking Google it, and it turns out there is a demon of hell, whatever, the 9 circles of hell and all that kind of stuff, Dante's Inferno shit. But it's a male, not a female. But there is a demon called Amy. And I tell loads of people that story because it's like, what the fuck? Like the most random, weirdest thing, normal guy. And then he just kind of went about throwing the ball for his dog. I was like, yeah, cheers for dropping that bomb, mate. Made me just like feel extremely strange.
So you sprinted past them every other morning, did he?
Fucking Stitch. Keep going.
I know. Yeah, it was that fucking one. But no, funnily enough, I see him pretty much every single day. But then I think I only saw him for 2 or 3 times after that, and I never saw him again. But the next time he was just like, "Hello," you know, just like he normally had been, as if what he'd said to me was just a complete norm.
Mm.
Weird.
So yeah, bit of
you ever have any weird experiences, Dave?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I have. I was walking, you know, well, we all know Springvale, I guess.
yeah.
I was walking down the Springvale Road. You know, you come off the top roundabout, don't you? And go down to the bottom roundabout. And there's some houses right on the corner in there on the bottom roundabout.
Mm.
And it was like, it must have been about 11:30 in the morning on a Saturday, because I was going to the pub at the pub opens up. And I was walking down to the pub and or to the town anyway. And I just, all of a sudden, I felt something pushing me. And it was like, and I thought, fucking hell, is it getting windy or what? But something just started pushing me from behind. And then it felt like wind. But it was definitely a push. So it was pushing me and pushing me and pushing me. And I was speeding up, I was going along. And then this car came fucking screaming around the roundabout, went over the fence and smashed into the house that's right on the bottom of the Springvale Road. And straight through the fucking, and it pushed me out of the way. Yeah, it was really weird. So it was like, and I was like, fucking hell. That was, you know, it wasn't even a close call because whatever was pushing me pushed me, and it wasn't any wind, you know, because it was like quite a nice day, but it pushed me out of the way. And then I thought, and immediately I thought of my grandmother, and my grandmother died when I was just like 2.5 years old, which is David's mother's mother also. And for some strange reason, I mean, obviously she died when I was 2, and I could never remember her, you know. But for some real weird reason, I thought it was her, and pushed me out the way. And then, like I said, this car came around and just, I don't know if it was a Subaru or what, Dave, but it was fucking going fast. probably wasn't using his indicators and fucking smashed into the side of this fucking house. But yeah, I think,
how long ago was that?
That was years and years ago. I was probably about 18, I guess. 18.
You never know.
Yeah, it's weird. Some stuff's weird, but I haven't really had any more sort of experiences like that. That was the only real push I've had, I guess.
It freaks the shit out of me, all of it. I gotta be honest. It like really like
I've got
the hairs up on the back of my neck.
The scariest story, and I don't know if you'll have time for it now, but I once stayed in a hotel. Do you want me to tell the story?
Yeah, we'll have a ghost story.
I'll try. And this is God's honest truth. You know, I'm a pretty level-headed guy. I believe what you believe, as long as you're not hurting any fucker. I believe fear the living, not the fucking dead. But 4 years ago, I was working in Newquay, right, Cornwall, and I'll try and bullet point. Now, this scared me that much, and I'm not really scared of much, and I don't mean that in a hard way. I'm just not, you know, nothing really. The dark doesn't scare me, you know, people don't really scare me. But I drove home from Newquay at midnight and got back at 4 o'clock in the morning, was throwing stones at my missus' window because she left the key in the door. And she's like, "Where? You're supposed to be in fucking Newquay." This is how scared I was. So I go to this hotel in Newquay called the Hotel California, right? Very apt name. And you go in, and it's almost like the decor is like that of The Shining. So it's very old-fashioned, but it's very majestic and very nice. And there's a Spanish guy on the thing. He says, "Yeah, I'll take you down to your room." And I was like, "What do you mean fucking down to my room?" So I go down 2 flights of stairs into this room, massive room. So at the end of the room, so if I'm on the bed here, there's the door, and my right side is a patio door that goes into like this crappy little plastic lean-to, like sun part, and then out onto this veranda. So I get there, go and have some food, come back, and I'm sat there, and I'm sitting there, I'm just doing some work on my iPad, and it's about 10 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock, and I'll bullet point this because, again, the order it happened in, I can't quite remember, but I went out for a cigarette, and I closed the door. Now, covering the patio door was like full-length curtains like this, you know, to cover it, and they were shut. And I could feel this breeze, right? And I'm going, "Fuck now, what's going on here?" So I open it, and the patio door's open about this much, right? So I was like, "Well, dickhead, close it." Closed it, put the, you know, the latch down, no key, just a latch. Do it again. Then I hear this bang, right? But this is about 10 minutes later, but this bang didn't come from nowhere. It was like, it didn't come from next door. There was no one staying next door as far as I knew, because I'd been out on the balcony all day, and there was nowhere near either side. Didn't come from anywhere. So carry on working. Breeze again. I'm like, fucking hell. So I open it. It's open as far as it can go. Shut it. Look outside. I'm like, "Is somebody pissing about?" No. Okay, fine. Close it. Then I sit on the bed. Then there's this, and this gets worse. There's this blood-curdling scream, right? Not human, not like, it was like a wounded animal. But again, it was split second, and it was loud enough that I jumped out of my skin. But it didn't seem to come from anywhere. You know, there was no direction to it. So I'm like, "All right, Lukey boy, just chill out now, get some sleep. You've had a long day." This is about 11:30. So I go into the bathroom, I'm cleaning my teeth, and as I turn around, looking at me for a split second, and I couldn't describe it now if I tried, it was a face, but it wasn't a face, looking around the door at me, and it was almost as soon as I saw it, it was gone. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I'm telling you, it was there. So I then, and I'm not ashamed to say, sat on the bog on the top of the loo for about 10 minutes with my toothbrush in my hand, going, "What the fuck was that?" Get the courage, go back out, sit on the bed, and I put on Earth, Wind and Fire on my Spotify and my iPad, happy music, and I "Do You Remember?" I'm like, "Yeah, everything's good, Luke, don't worry." The minute first now, feel a breeze again. Look to my right, the breeze is coming, so I know the door's open. Then I see something in the corner of my eye, and this thing again is looking at me from out of the bathroom this time. So I dive across, call the porter. I said, "Oh, I've got a problem at home. I need to check out. Any chance this is like 5 to midnight. I said, can you give me some help on my bags?" And I sit on the bed in my boxer shorts until that door knocks. And I run across, open the door. I said, "Oh, sorry, mate. Thanks for your help. I got a couple of bags." Got ready into some shorts, t-shirt, whatever. I drove home. Scared the living shit out of me.
Well, I have actually. Go on.
My missus goes, "Oh, we got to stay there again," because she's into all this kind of stuff. And we went there a couple of months later, and we went upstairs to our room. No issue. No problem. Slept like a stone. I'm telling you, it happened, and it scared the living fuck out of me that I drove home.
But why didn't you ask for the same room back?
Fuck that.
Thank you.
Well, you know, I mean, I've seen your post recently on Facebook about, obviously you made it about your wife, and I looked your wife up, and she is a bit of a tree hugger, I think.
Yes.
So is she very spiritual?
She is, yeah. So she's into yoga. She's a PE teacher by trade in primary school, but she's also does life coaching on the side and holistic life coaching, and she's into yoga and exercise and nature. She's got an affinity with nature, which is great with our daughter, because she's got that side of her. Not saying I don't like the outdoors, but my daughter for instance, she was in the bath the other week, and I said, Hanya, what do you want to listen to? And I put Alexa on. She went, Fleetwood Mac. I was like, that's my girl. You know, she's got that kind of side of me and that kind of side. But yeah, she wanted to stay there again because she's into all the ghosts and spiritual stuff, and there was no issue. So
yeah, so you definitely should have stayed in the same room.
I have got one. Yeah, I have got one. We went to a wedding up. It was a castle called Craggy up in Mid-Wales somewhere, and they had done, you know, the most haunted with is it Derek or something, and he does all the voices and all that. They had filmed an episode there, and apparently it was an old, I think it was a children's hospital or children's school, and that area of the castle was closed off, and nobody was allowed to go there. So we were all staying, obviously, in these other rooms. See, I got fucking ears going out on the back of my neck then. So we were all
your dog on the back here, is it?
No. So we were all drinking, and slowly through the night, everybody was going to bed and dwindling. And it turned out it was just me and the missus, and a friend and her husband, and it was just the four of us. And we were talking about Derek and everything, and we were sat in this room. Everybody else had gone to bed. There was nobody about, and all of a sudden there was like a crash outside the door. So we went outside, and there was like somebody had thrown a dustpan and brush on the floor, right? So we thought, what's so fucking weird. So we sort of looked up the stairs. There was nobody there. Carried on talking. Then there was, you know, like it's like a plastic punnet that you put like vegetables in, those sort of things.
Yeah.
One of them got thrown outside as well. Then, so like Mark, who was with us as well, he was going, oh, I need to go to the toilet, but I was busting to go to the toilet, and I held it until we went back to the bedroom. And then I got back to the bedroom, stuck my iPod on, and I was like, ended the blankets and went to sleep. Sarah was laughing already. She's like, oh, it's all a load of nonsense and everything. And I was thinking, I don't like this. And then when we got up in the morning, we were talking about it, but we were asking the rest of the guests if any of them had been chucking anything, and none of them were owning up to it. So whether somebody did or somebody didn't, we never know. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of like the only sort of funny story I got. But what was funny was I messaged the guys that we were with and said that we had been on an episode of The Most Haunted, and I just fucking fell for it. So she was like, fast forward it all through to find out about this Craggy Nos place.
Well, I did have one super scary experience, to be honest. And it was just after my mother died, and I don't know if she'd been cremated yet. I'm not sure. I think she must have been. And I was lying in bed, and I was sort of asleep, and then I heard somebody come into my bedroom. And I was like lying, because I was lying away from the door. So I was in bed, and the door was I was lying like this, and the door was over there. So I was lying away from the door, and I thought, there's nobody in the house. So I thought, who the fuck's that come in my bedroom? And then I was like, as soon as the door opened, it was like straight away there was a hand on me. So it wasn't really like you didn't have time to walk across the room, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it was door, shoulder. And then it was just gently rocking me like that, telling, sort of like saying, wake up, wake up. And something was saying, wake up. But I could feel this fucking hand on my shoulder. And I knew it was my mother. And I was fucking shitting myself. And I started fucking screaming at her, right? And I was like, go away, go away. You know, I'm lying in bed, and I'm like, go away, go, because I didn't want to look at her, because she was, you know, obviously she passed away recently. And I was so afraid to look at her to see what I would see. And in a way, I regret it, because then she never came back. But it frightened the fucking shit out of me. That was scary. Like, I was like, fucking hell. And when I screamed at her to go away, and I must have been screaming at her to go away for at least 45 seconds before she took her hand off my shoulder. And then she just went, you know. I was like, fucking hell, that. And I got up, I got straight out of bed. I was like, fucking hell, my heart was fucking beating. And
I think there's a point where your brain tries to rationalize things, like you said, these little minor coincidences.
Yeah.
Oh, I live in an old house, creaky floor. There's me saying that, just to talk to my story. I keep checking the bathroom fucking door over there. But like I said, it gets to a point where you feel things that are not just split second or whatever it may be. And I always said seeing, believing, and I never dismissed anything. But after that Newquay experience, there was just no there was no like, I hadn't had a drink. I wasn't particularly like then exhausted, or it was over a period of about 2 hours that these things were happening. And whatever it was, I knew that someone in me said, you need to fucking get out of here because it ain't nice, whatever it is. And it was escalating quickly. And but like I said, I think your brain rationalizes things, but when you feel a hand or you see something more than once, or there must be a switch in your brain that goes, I can't rationalize this anymore, however much I try to. And that's when it's that fight or flight that shit, but no one on record has been killed by a ghost yet, so I think we're all right.
Yeah, that's what my mum's a believer, and she always says it's the live, like you said earlier on, it's the live ones you need to worry about. The dead one hurt you. She always says that. That's kind of like my mother's motto.
Your mother's motto. Yeah. Well, they've tried and they've tried, and they try to catch stuff on film, and and it's always, ghost stories are always at night. It's always in the dark. I mean, why can't you see a ghost walking down the fucking beach in the sunshine? Like, it's just the same, innit?
Yeah. It's like you're saying about Most Haunted. My mum used to watch that, and she loved it. And I think, so you're telling me a renowned clairvoyant, Derek Acora, whatever his name is, right? He goes round, and how many episodes of Most Haunted did they do? Fucking hundreds, right? In Britain. So you're telling me he's a paranormal researcher and clairvoyant, yet of all the hundreds of haunted places, from the Tower of London to a little pub like Stirred and Abergavenny and all that kind of stuff that they've done, at the start of every episode they go, remember, Derek knows nothing of the history of this place. Bollocks. Absolute bollocks. You're telling me the clairvoyant and knows no history about any hauntings that go on in Great Britain. Bollocks. Now, if you said he's from Liverpool, but we're going to fuck him off to Argentina, all right, I would maybe get it. He doesn't know about this little asylum or manor house in back and beyond in Argentina or Brazil. But he's like, oh, Derek's in Liverpool, haunted. We're going to do an episode of this haunted inn, but he knows nothing about it or what went on here. Yeah, go at Burnley into Pendle Hill. Oh, he knows nothing about which witches were killed. Bollocks.
Yeah, that's right. That is right.
All right then.
Yeah, I've got one more if we got time. So when we moved into this house that we're in now,
you didn't have any fucking 10 minutes ago, Luke.
No. So when we moved into this house that we're in now, which was about 20 odd years ago, it was just a nightmare. We tried to move in, and because we tried to move in so quickly, all the stuff that we needed upstairs was downstairs, and all the stuff that we were going to put downstairs was upstairs. It was all higgledy-piggledy. So the very first night, me, the missus, and the two kids, we slept downstairs, just in like sleeping bags on the floor. So in the middle of the night then, I heard a click and a noise upstairs. So I woke up, and the missus woke up, and we looked at each other. Then we heard the toilet flush. And I was looking around the living room, and I was thinking, oh, fuck. We just moved into a haunted house. I cannot believe we just moved from our lovely home that we were in, and we moved into a haunted house. And then the door went, and thank God Shannon walked in. But both of us backsides are doing this. It was up on the back of our neck. And that was the very first night now. I was thinking, oh my God.
So your daughter was haunting you, even though she was fucking sleeping with you in the living room.
That could have been the quickest turnaround ever, because we would have been sleeping in not that hotel in Newquay, but we definitely would have been shacked up in a hotel somewhere ready to sell this place.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, if I moved into the house like that, I'd take it as a warning. Definitely. If you heard something early on, I'd be like, yeah, just getting out. But now it's a strange old world. But I'm definitely a believer now of stuff. But I don't know.
Well, it was Fairwater. We used to walk past the ghost houses at Fairwater up at the park. It was
in Green Meadow.
Yeah. It was like,
it was just from my mum's house. It was they reckon the house is haunted because they boarded up. I don't know if you know Green Meadow, Luke. You probably don't remember, but over some of the houses, they got like a bedroom. It's like a walkway underneath. So when you're going through the streets, you go like some of them.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yes, almost like a dormer that comes out over the. Yeah,
and you walk underneath it or whatever, and then there's like a nice But they boarded all that house up, didn't they, up in Green Meadow? And nobody lived there for fucking years because I think 2 different families moved in there and they both like fled because it was haunted by some sort of poltergeist, I think it was. And it was boarded up for years and years. Nobody was allowed to go in there.
Yeah. Well, me and your brothers used to dare each other to run past it and stuff. We were like proper young at that time, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. All right then, mate. I will let you go and get your dinner.
Yeah, that's definitely turned an unusual one for us, isn't it? It was cool.
Yeah, well,
The first one we've done with ghosts.
Yeah, it's very fun. But no, yeah, it'd be lovely to do this again, obviously. And to be honest, you kept me company this evening because I would have been just sat here doing nothing. So yeah, it's been a pleasure. It's really, really cool, guys. Honestly, it's brilliant.
Yeah. Well, make sure you shut the door to your bathroom.
I'll be going downstairs until my eyes are going, and then I can just come enjoy the rest of your night, then, chaps. Lovely. It's been a pleasure, honestly.
And I'll see you on the road this year. Come down and catch a show, mate. Right?
Definitely.
All right. Well, yeah, take care, mate.
Cheers, buddy. Ta-ra, mate.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, yeah. Got shivers down my back. See it, turn the heating on.
Oh, you know, you fucking puff.
Look at it. Oh, you did, I do.
Oh, because I wanted to do an episode on like ghost stories and stuff as well. Yeah. I was going to ask you if you were into all that.
Like I'm always I'm the same with everything, even like with religion. I'm like agnostic, like you said. I believe it when I see it, but
yeah, I'm pretty much the same, to be honest.
I'm kind of like still nervous of it as well. So even like with my movie choices, you know, my preference is always comedies, but I do like slasher movies. Yeah. So I like it when people are hacking each other up. But the minute it gets a bit paranormal, it just puts the willies up me, and I don't like watching them.
All right. Yeah, Sherry's not really a horror movie fan, so
no, like anything like Saw or werewolves and vampires and all that sort of stuff. I love all that, but as soon as they start whacking out the Ouija boards and people's heads start spinning around, I'm done.
All right then, mate.
Yeah, it was an interesting one tonight, wasn't it?
Yeah, it took a bit of a turn, but there you go.
Yeah,
but that's what this show's all about, I guess.
Yeah, that was good fun.
So, all right, I'm going to call it a night.
Okie dokie.
I'm fucking tired. Like I said, I had to go to work yesterday for a couple of hours and it kills me. So,
that's it.
All right.
Yeah.
So, I'll speak to you later.
Yeah. I sleep with a fucking light on tonight.
All right, catch you later, mate.
Yeah, have a good one.
Ta-ra.